Well, hi, this is London here, and I have a very special guest that is on the speaker, and she's in Cleveland, Ohio right now. Her name is Miss Crystal Jones, and pardon me because I'm at work right now at the radio station, but I have the pleasure of talking with Crystal. Hi, Crystal.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. Crystal has quite an interesting story of some things that's been going on in her life, and I guess I want to talk to her today because we have an organization called London's Love, Care, and Share Cancer, MS, and Major Disease Support Group. And this young lady, Crystal, has a lot of things going on, but I just like to introduce you, Crystal, and talk about your being able to overcome cancer, and then maybe we'll be able to touch base on some of the other things you want to talk about.
Sure. Um, for me, it was something that I have not discussed with anyone because when you hear that word, it's frightening to people.
Mhm.
And then you don't understand, and that's what I basically wanted to talk about, how we come into contact with cancer, and
Mhm.
how we minorities aren't educated when it comes to environmental issues,
Mhm.
and it's important to be aware of why we can contact or come into contact with cancer.
Mhm. Okay. Because I will. Is it okay to talk about that you did overcome it because you caught it in time?
Well, I think that it's more important to talk about the environmental issues that can cause cancer because it's important for minorities to be educated about environmental concerns and what happens during the process.
Mhm.
When it boils down to it, how you can get any type of illness or sickness is, and the environment has a lot to do with it. And as African Americans in our communities, we
Mhm.
need to be educated as to what happens, what goes on, and that's important. Um, our environment is so important, and in low-income neighborhoods, we need to be more educated about what occurs. As far as like sitting water, which can cause Legionnaires disease and other type of diseases.
Mhm.
When we have, like say for example, rats. A lot of people don't know that something as simple as one rat can, by itself, can produce up to 15 mice, 1,500
Whoa.
mice a year.
You said a
Um,
rat.
beg your pardon?
You said a rat, right? One rat.
One rat, because a rat can produce by itself the same as a roach can.
Oh.
And they, again, one rat can produce up to 1,500 rats. So when we have rats in our sewer systems, that can be devastating because it can cause, thousands of rats to be produced.
Mhm.
So, and then they bring on diseases. So we have to get ourselves more educated as to what's going on.
So we
You
speak of.
know,
Can you tell us what Legionnaire's disease is?
we I'm not really informed to it. I haven't educated myself as far as Legionnaire's disease, but now that you have brought that up, I shall do just that. But I know it's a sickness. I know it's debilitating. I
Mhm.
know it. It can cause a lot of pain, and I don't know much about Legionnaires
Okay. Can
because
you?
they're so there are a vast amount of sicknesses and diseases that, come with, that are linked to, say, for example, pollution, high blood pressure, stroke,
Really?
cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, cardiovascular disease. Even male penile dysfunction, even fetal loss. There's so many sicknesses and diseases that's linked to pollution. And in 2015, for example, it was approximately 9 million deaths linked to pollution alone. That's a lot of deaths.
Yes, it is.
Wow. So I think that it's really important that minorities get involved in environmental issues, and we become more aware, because it affects our communities more than any other community.
I guess what you're saying, in our particular environments, we are more exposed to these conditions at a higher rate or percentage than other people.
Exactly. Exactly. And our not being educated makes us more prone to not protecting ourselves and not being aware of what we can do to protect ourselves. So we have to get involved, because as you see, when you see marches or when you see round tables, you don't particularly see African Americans involved. Okay. Therefore, we don't have a place at the table. And again, our communities are more affected by any other community. So we have to start being aware of it. And if you notice, women are dying at a higher rate of heart disease. As far as breast cancer, women in Ohio have the third highest mortality rate from breast cancer in the country.
Wow.
And we need to be more involved.
You're talking about women or African American women as a whole, or you talking about African American women?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's vast.
It's astounding when you think about it, because again, no matter what you say or do, it boils down to not being educated. And watching all these things that occur around me started me to educate myself, and that's where I am now. That's where I find myself, more and more being aware of what's going on, and trying to educate my family and my friends, because when you look at diseases and illnesses, and you look at it as a whole, the environment plays a huge part in it.
Definitely.
A huge part when you think about death.
I guess that would lead us to being aware. Then we have to find a solution on how to, so that we can bring our percentage down of death rates or cancer or whatever other types of things that we're being exposed to so massively. I guess, like you said, the awareness, the education of it all. I guess once we get educated, then the next thing we automatically want to see what can we do to solve these issues.
Absolutely. And, a lot of it is, I was learning about, say, for example, our electronics. Our electronics have to be disposed of a certain way, because in those electronics, you have like mercury, for example, you have lead. So you in other components, you have to be very careful about electronics, because when it's leaked out, it can affect your body. Your kidneys can
Wow.
shut down.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
you have to be really cautious about things like that.
I do recall you talking about that, and we didn't talk about that, but that's definitely true. And that just goes for everything else. 'Cause I remember you talking about things that are not disposed of properly. It goes into our soil, and then we become affected by it when it gets into the soil, into the air, and all that kind of thing. So,
And the water.
and the water, definitely the water too. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and more often people don't understand, especially when you start smelling the water or there's a strong odor in the air. That's pollution. And again, sickness, disease, and death can result from pollution. So, if you live near a plant, some type of plant or factory, it's best to get involved and see what they're doing, because people don't understand paints and solvents. They can be very toxic and hazardous. So you need to become more involved in your community and what they're, these factories and plants, what they're doing.
Oh yeah, so that takes us to the next topic, I guess, is the environment and the issues with sometimes just the pollution that comes out from some of the chemical plants that dissipate into the air, and then we breathe that. And like you said, some areas I know I've driven in, and I don't know if it's any better yet. It smells so bad, and they say, well, it's a chemical plant. But at the same time, we're being exposed to that, and like you said, you never know what kind of disease can culminate from being exposed to that type of pollution.
Absolutely, because there's so many different diseases that you can be exposed of. And that's just like, any type of medical facility that's dumping medical waste. Those waste products can become toxic.
Right.
And when you think about it, even though I don't want to get too graphic, it's just like the waste in your body.
Right.
If that waste stays in your body too long and doesn't get out, it kills you. Same thing. When you're outside and you have different types of materials, even in your home, your garbage. When that garbage breaks down, that liquid
one second.
From that garbage, it can be dangerous and toxic. So
That's
we got to be much more aware.
Crystal.
Yes.
Crystal. Okay, now since we are on like a reality show time, and one of my clients came in, so I just want her to know that we're recording. Hi, Mama Jean. She's getting ready to come in and do a show, and I have a young lady that's recording right here. And in the next few minutes, we'll be done. So I just wanted to let my client know. What's the name of your show? God's Inspirational Gospel Hour. She just walked in, Crystal. She was saying hello. So we wanted to. We're recording, and it's kind of like a reality moment. So now I'm going to go back to you. We have a couple more minutes before the next show comes on, and so I'd like to get back to that. This very informational, educational, and inspirational. And I guess in many ways you're just saying that we don't have to settle for it, and it's good to know about it, because what you don't know, people now we're gonna say that old saying that people say what you don't know will hurt you, but in fact what you don't know can definitely hurt you if you're not aware of it.
Well, in fact, can even kill you. And see, my mantra is each one teach one, and when you do nothing, you get nothing.
So what are you doing? What are you doing in your city? Because you're in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, and I know when you were telling me about that, all city governments are pretty much set up the same. So what you're saying, if that's going on in Ohio, then that's going on in Michigan, and that's going on all around the world. I'd like to know, what's your suggestion to do next once we find out about this information?
Well, you know, you can form advocacy groups. You can get involved in environmental causes. They have the Sierra Clubs. So, you know, just educating yourself is very important. You know, when you start educating yourself, you have a phone, you can Google anything.
Mm-hmm.
For example, liquid waste. Again, I'll bring that up because people think that when you have garbage in your home, that they don't realize how toxic and hazardous that right there can be.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, the liquid that comes off, it's simple waste after it breaks down in your home, leaving it there too long.
Mm-hmm.
That liquid, just coming in contact with it can be dangerous. So we have to be very careful. We have to educate ourselves because our communities, in order to thrive and survive, we have to be informed. We have to get educated.
Okay.
And I still, right now, today, am educating myself because it's so much to learn. When they talk about climate control,
mm-hmm.
that's serious.
Definitely.
You know, and not being aware, not knowing, not participating, that has a cause and effect in your community.
Well, Miss Crystal Jones, thank you for your time. On that note, we have about 30 seconds left, and I would like to thank you for taking time to give us that information and to inspire us about being informed about different things that's going on around our environment. And hopefully we'll get a chance to talk again. So thank you so much for allowing me this time to talk with you. And this will be seen on our television show and on YouTube, and I'll let you know so that you can look at it. And hopefully a lot of people will see it, and you will pique their interest and increase their knowledge. Thank you, Miss Crystal.
Thank you for having me. You take care.
You too. Have a good holiday today.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, thank you once again for tuning in to the program with London, and we highly appreciate you, and we hope that you have learned something from this, and we hope to talk to you again. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.